It's been an hour and you haven't even started the videos.
I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Doomed. The Elder Scrolls 6 hired a Dragon Age the Veilguard writer for the modern audience. And I'm a really huge Elder Scroll fan, and this is genuinely frustrating me. How on earth are you gonna hire a writer from one of the biggest gaming flops? What on earth possessed you to be like, oh yeah, that game it underperformed so heavily and everyone criticized it mainly for its writing. Let me get the writer on board. Oh no, 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 no. Exactly, that's my reaction too. Classic Todd Howard. Yep. Toddy never disappoints, does he? It's gonna be a little bit delusional of me to say this, but there's still a portion of me who hopes against odds that maybe possibly it could be a passable game. And if it's not, maybe the mods can fix it as they do with every single Toddy game. Oh, that Mass Effect, Bioshock, and Ghost of Yotei writer joins Bethesda, possibly for Elder Scrolls. I'm already dying. It's already killing me.
Everyone got it cold.
Oh, goody.
What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster, and there are some projects that you get involved with that are really, really difficult to bounce back from.
There ain't no coming back. There ain't no coming back.
Dragon Age the Veilguard is one such project.
Yeah.
The game was absolutely terrible at virtually every level. It flopped in just about the most public.
The only thing about Veilguard that didn't flop are the cringe compilations, especially against the wall, like the that's vile
and humiliating way imaginable, even with game journalist shills trying to prop it up. And if there was any justice, or hell, forget that, if there was just plain any common sense in the gaming industry, then the developers in important roles who worked on the Veilguard would find it difficult to land big jobs at new studios. However, this here is the self-proclaimed queerosexual
Why? Why can I not escape this person? Why? Why? Why on God's earth? Every time I am looking forward to something, the Gendermancer is back.
He never
Why?
left. He never left.
Dungeons and Dragons, Gendermancer. D&D, Gendermancer. Now Elder Scroll, Gendermancer. Leave me alone. I'm starting to think she's stalking me. Oh, not again. Someone clearly has a lot of money to keep bouncing her from game to game. Mm-hmm. All right, that's enough internet for today. And by the way, before some lunatic says, "Oh, you're being such a bigot for calling her Gendermancer," she called herself queerosexual Gendermancer. She calls herself that.
Gendermancer Corinne Bush, who directed this piece of crap game, and Wizards of the Coast hired up Bush in a senior position right away.
Some people are really f***ing stupid.
Well,
Yup.
sadly, the video game industry has also had no problem hiring up the writers who worked on the Veilguard. You know, the brilliant geniuses who came up with dialogue like this.
I think your fingers are just perfect.
Yeah. So... Are you trying to
No.
have sex with me?
No.
Hadn't really thought that far ahead, but maybe?
Quick, think
No.
about us having
Stop.
No, this is
No.
Oh, that's the scene I was talking about it.
No.
Oh my god. Who does that? I don't even do that to Zen. Just randomly go, "Hey, trying to have sex with me?" Does that?
Meow.
Is this doing anything for you, Zen?
No.
Nothing?
Honey, stop.
I would rather get a dirty Sanchez than continue to watch this.
Now, with this
The hell was a Dirty Sanchez? Also, if any of you explain to me what Dirty Sanchez is, I don't want to hear it.
context in mind, we must turn our attention to the Elder Scrolls franchise, because Bethesda hired one of the bozos who worked on the Veilguard. The Elder Scrolls franchise is one of the most beloved IPs in gaming, and they have not released a new title in about 14 years by now. And no, I'm not including the Elder Scrolls Online. The Elder Scrolls 6 is just about the most hotly anticipated game around, so you'd think they would be
Fan base of Elder Scroll is so ginormous. There's a lot of build up and anticipation happening, especially with the remaster we got. There were old players rejoining and then wanting to re-experience, and there were people joining who never played it before and loved it. So like there's a lot at stake for Toddy with the upcoming Elder Scroll. But I'm gonna jump the gun and say that there's a huge possibility of it being a hot pile of shit.
very discerning about who they bring on to make this game. After all, just about every writer in existence would want to work on this game, but we have just gotten word that this fellow right here, John Dombrow, the senior narrative designer slash writer for the Veilguard, he was just brought on as senior quest designer at Bethesda, most likely working on the Elder Scrolls 6. Considering all the talent they could have hired, this absolutely blows my mind.
Well, it's time someone told you, no one f***ing likes that!
Then dance! Fire and chaos!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already,
Done and
also,
done.
I've started uploading some
Not on
content
this
onto
channel,
Rumble
though.
as well, so make sure you look for Dr. Disaster over there, and don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. But anyways, let's take a gander at this fella that got hired on at Bethesda as a senior quest designer. Now, if you look at this LinkedIn for this guy, you can see at the top there that he was just brought on as a senior quest designer at Bethesda. The project that he's working on is not listed.
And before, that senior writer for Sucker Punch production full-time, Ghost of Yote. Senior writer of Ghost of Yote, sequel to blah, 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 blah. BioWare senior narrative designer slash writer. Dragon Age Veilguard, senior writer, narrative designer on Dragon Age Veilguard. Writer of the Darwin story arc, including all missions and related characters slash relationship slash romance scenes. This person brought us the writer of Siege of Weishaupt mission, initial writing on the Veil Jumper storyline and quest, Lighthouse Player Hub narrative planning and design. Okay?
So it's possible that maybe he's doing work on Starfield DLC or something like that, but I have a hard time believing he wouldn't just list Starfield if that was the case. No, it seems likely to me that the still untitled Elder Scrolls 6 is what he's working on, because with that game, there is still no official title listed on it. Isn't that crazy, by the way? The last real Elder Scrolls game came out in
I genuinely, like, how delusional would it be of me to hope that maybe they're working on some like off game? Like, I know there's like maybe like 1% of shot that this is possible. I think they announced only one game that they're actively working on, right? Especially with like all the cuts that Microsoft did with the budgets for all of the games and all of the studios. There were a lot of layout and a lot of budget cuts. A lot of games got canceled, but The only one of the only ones that didn't get canceled was Elder Scrolls 6. So like the possibility of the writer from Veilguard working on Elder Scroll is higher and higher.
2011, and we still don't even have the name of its follow-up. For as much as GTA fans like to joke about how long it has taken for GTA 6 to come out, Skyrim is actually 2 years older than GTA 5, and we still don't have a clue as to a release date. But anyhow, all that aside, this guy is a bad hire, and all it takes is a cursory glance at his resume on LinkedIn here to show you why. His previous job was working at
I think it would be valid to say the reason why games like this can get away with like not releasing games too often is because like with GTA you have GTA Online which people prefer playing, and there's like a lot of items that is being added all the time. With Skyrim there's a lot of mods that keeps the game fresh all the time. So it's like one of those instances they can get away with not publishing games too often.
as the senior writer for Ghost of Yote, which is one of many reasons why I'm expecting that game to be dog crap. Interestingly enough, Sucker Punch hired this John Dombrow guy from BioWare after working on the Veilguard, and they also hired this person here, Courtney Woods, who was another writer from the Veilguard. I will give Sucker Punch this though. Both of those writers were brought on a few years prior to the release of the Veilguard, so they would not have known what a colossal failure that game ended up being. But anyways, let's look at this guy's recent history with BioWare on his LinkedIn profile. It says he was a senior narrative designer and writer for Dragon Age the Veilguard, which of course was a total catastrophe.
Oh, wait, he also was a co-lead writer for Mass Effect Andromeda. The one that everyone keeps shaking their fist at.
Prior to that, he had the same title of Senior Narrative Designer / Writer for Anthem, which, hey, would you look at that? Another complete and total flop. And then, prior to that, he was the co-lead writer for Mass Effect Andromeda, easily the worst game in the Mass Effect series, to the point that most Mass Effect fans don't even really count that game in their headcanon. They just focus on the first 3 instead. And keep in mind that the reason that people generally hate Andromeda so much is because it is considered a deeply awful story. And if you look down here, this guy proudly
Responsible for writing the first 2 hours of the game in addition to the Solarian Arc mission. Supervised 3 novel tie-ins, Nexus, Uprising, Annihilation, and Initiation. Who wrote the Dark Horse comic tie-in Mass Effect Discovery. Okay.
posts on his LinkedIn that he wrote the first 2 hours of that game. That should tell you everything you need to know about what kind of a failure of a hire this guy is for Bethesda. It's incredible how people in this industry just keep failing.
And yeah, I see Ancient mentioning that she actually liked the game. I see Ivan mentioning he liked the combat in the game. So I'm gonna rephrase myself and I'll say majority of people who've been playing Mass Effect didn't like Andromeda because of how boring and bland it was.
Upward. I mean, it would be one thing if the guy had only been responsible for one bad game and the rest of his career was good, but the dude by now has a consistent track record of being involved in dog shit at this point. However, this isn't the first time that I have been off-put by the people that they have working on the Elder Scrolls 6. You may remember a few months ago, we discussed these images right here, which had circulated online.
I think I missed it.
3 women who work at Bethesda these days.
I think I missed it, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't really give a damn that much how they look. The only thing I want to know from people who work on games, what games they played, loved, and are currently playing.
Yeah.
I think when they're introducing members that needs to be on the forefront. At what age they got into gaming, which games they prefer, which games they started with, which games they're currently playing, which games they think they're the best at. So, like, give me the important information. I don't.
Yeah.
Don't flash me their hair colors. Don't flash me their pronouns. I don't give a flying rat's ass. I want the game information.
In prominent positions. Now, it is true that these people have worked at the company for a while, but look here at how they've changed over the years. And no, I'm not talking about their weight. As people get older, they sometimes get heavier,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to make fun of them for that. But look at their hair and their piercings, and even just the expressions on their faces compared to how they used to look, how they used to.
I think what happened in, I don't know, like life changes people, right? I still stand up by my opinion that I just want to know the game part. Like I genuinely, I don't know if it's gonna sound messed up of me. I don't care about them. I care about their extent of knowledge in games.
Carry themselves. These people now look as though they are utterly steeped in current thing politics. They are displaying all kinds of
But I will say this looks like a different, the bottom one.
Okay.
red flags that I look out for when it comes to people that should be avoided. And they represent three pretty important positions for the game. You've got the production and studio director, you've got the senior character artist, and you've got the senior environment artist. That is definitely disconcerting. Now, does all of this mean that the Elder Scrolls 6 is just utterly and completely doomed to be just plain terrible? Well, this writer that they brought on has a track record of working on games which ruined their respective franchises
Yeah.
with wokeness, and Starfield was mocked pretty hard for its pronoun system in that game, so the signs are not looking great for Bethesda, considering that this writer is being brought on at a time which presumably should be considered late in the game's development stage, since the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 dropped like 7 years ago. But considering all that, it is questionable as to how much influence he could have on the Elder Scrolls 6. On the other hand,
So, am I correct in assuming that this was not that long ago that the change was implemented? Is there a possibility that Microsoft is still pushing the whole thoughts and opinions and modern audience? Because from what I've been going through, like the information, what Microsoft is doing to the companies they signed and brought on, the studios. They're the ones telling which games to cancel, which games to continue to work on, and what to push. So I wonder if it has anything to do with that. I'm not saying Toddy is good. Toddy is yeah, Toddy. But like things have been really weird at Microsoft, especially the past half a year.
Does they ignore criticism anyways? Yeah, they do.
Todd made Morrowind How the Mighty Have Fallen. Okay, Toddy is responsible for a lot of people getting into a lot of good games.
Yep.
But Toddy has also never been a good person at it. It's like falling face forward into a chest of gold.
Sounds painful.
Yeah. From Microsoft to Microheart. What the fuck?
Stop, Lumpy. No.
Yeah, I don't really acknowledge Todd Howard as the mastermind at Bethesda. Yeah. Like what was good? Um the thing that was valuable at Bethesda was the team. And when the good team is being replaced, that's when it becomes concerning. And this is
Yep.
exactly what is happening.
Morrowind to me is actually pretty bad. I prefer Skyrim way more.
Well, Morrowind is also very, very fucking old.
Yeah, it depends when you start playing games. If you didn't start around that time, then you can't go back.
Bringing him in at all showcases a general lack of good judgment that tells me a lot about the current state of Bethesda in and of itself. I am a big Elder Scrolls fan, but my hope for the game to be good dwindles with every bit of new news that I hear. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. What are your expectations for the Elder Scrolls 6? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties.
I mean, I still hope it's gonna be good. I know, look, I know the writing is not gonna be good. I know. But let me hope. No. This is really tough. On one hand, I want to be fair. I want to say everyone deserves a redemption arc, especially when it comes to the career. But does it have to be a redemption arc with such a way too long anticipated game? And we know that to play Elder Scrolls 6, you will have to have like the supercomputer. Otherwise, it will melt your PC.
Yep.
We already know of that. That's all incoming.
Yeah. Fly high. Check it. Spread my wings high, reach the sky. Feathers in the wind, never asking why. I'm a bird, motherfucker, I'm a bird. Soaring high, yeah, that's the word. Flying free like you never heard.